Hi, TideCrunch teachers. It's Marielle. This year, I decided to completely switch up my 5th grade classroom. And instead of doing rows or sections or groups, I wanted to offer flexible seating because when I taught middle school, I loved doing that. And last year, teaching 5th grade, I noticed I did a lot of centers or stations, and I wanted to be able to provide spaces that were a little spread out so that when kids were talking and discussing and collaborating, they had room to do so and didn't feel like they were on top of each other. Plus, I actually like kids having a lot of transitions between activities just so they can get up and move around. And because the student groupings are mixed, like their math group isn't the same as their reading group, I wanted to be able to offer lots of different seating options so that they're not in the same seat the whole day. I know that there's probably going to be some questions around how I run everything, especially with the classroom set up like this. And to be honest, I'm just sort of thinking it through and trying to figure it out because it is completely dependent on my students and what they need, what different levels they're at, how the groupings change throughout the day or the year or whatever. So I'll do my best to explain it, but I don't plan more than the first couple days of school because I know so much of that's going to change. So I don't really stress about it. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe just walk around the classroom and point out different areas and how they're going to be used and try to explain the reasoning behind that. So here we go. All right, so this is basically what my classroom looks like when you first walk into the door. And this has nothing to do with flexible seating because I've done this for years, but I love having all of my art supplies organized by color because rarely do kids need all of the colors. You usually just need 2 or 3 colors for whatever project you're doing. And so I send the kids over to this area, either individually or by group, it doesn't really matter. And they just pick out the colors they want. And it completely saves you from the kids having maybe their own pack of markers. And they're like, oh, the blue one ran out, it's dried up, or oh, I don't have any orange, or whatever it might be. I love this system. When a color gets low, I just open a new pack, and there you have it. All right, I'm gonna show you the area that my colleagues love and I love, and I'm sure the kids will love. First of all, this is our class mascot, that's Yuki. We have, different like little squishmallows or whatever in there, little cuddle things that they love having. Over here is some fun flexible seating. It's a carpet area. This is great for kids who want to sit on the floor. And it's also where I'm going to put, I think, all of our workbooks. Right now it has some of my library books, but I don't know, I'll probably move those or have the kids move them. So this space is right off of the front board with this teacher table, which I'll explain in a minute. But I'm gonna put down the camera and kind of show you what I mean. Okay, so my idea is that the kids can sit on the floor. Sometimes they want to lay on the floor. I have these little lap desks or whatever, so if they want to sit and use them, that's fine. I also have a bin with clipboards that I'll show later. And I have, I don't know, I think 25 or 30 of these floor cushions. They were actually purchased by the school, and I love them. Most of what I'm going to show you was purchased either from the school or massively on clearance, or maybe a teacher didn't want a supply. But I want to point that out because I don't think that teachers should have to spend a bunch of their own money on setting up their classrooms unless they want to. And there are some items in here I wanted, and so I purchased myself. And some of this happened over the course of a couple years. But if you are looking for rugs, I give this tip in all of my classroom setup videos. Wait till the end of summer, which is perfect for back to school, because all of the outdoor rugs go on clearance. And this one I bought for $15. I love it. During the summer or every couple months, it's super easy to just take outside and hose off because it's an outdoor rug, and they're awesome. And I love that they're low pile or whatever. Like, they're not fluffy rugs that hold in dirt. They're outdoor rugs, like a mat that you can rinse off. I taped the corners down just so kids don't catch their toe on them. But end of summer clearance, outdoor rugs. Like I said, these seats were purchased by the school, and they're great. The kids love sitting on them. Actually, I want to show you something they love doing. This is they call it movie theater seating. So if we're watching something on the TV, or honestly, if they're doing independent reading and I let them just sit wherever they want and read, you can flip these chairs over like this, put a cushion right here. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so embarrassing because I think I'm probably gonna get stuck in the chair. All right, here we go. Do I fit? Oh, I do kind of fit. And so they take their book that they're reading and they lay back like this. And it is so adorable. And a couple years ago, the class called it movie theater seating, which I think is perfect. So if you don't have flexible seating, you can just flip over a chair and they can sit on it that way. So that's another flexible seating option. I want to talk about this rocking chair because this caused a fight between Stephanie Hedgepeth-Lopez and I. Not really. So Stephanie does the podcast with me. She is a 3rd grade teacher. She's right down the hall. And I love her. I love working with her. She gives me so many fantastic ideas. But I almost threw fists over this chair. So what happened was Stephanie and I were talking in the summer, and she goes, oh, I went to such and such thrift store, and I saw the coolest thing there. And I said, was it a little kid rocking chair? And she said, yes. And I said, I saw that chair earlier today, and I almost bought it. But I wasn't sure because it's only one chair. And she said that she wanted to buy it and that she regretted she didn't get it. So we decided whoever got down to the thrift store first could have it. So I beat her. I got there. And I think with discounts, they like threw in this stool. I think it was like $20 that I paid for everything. And now I think we decided we're gonna have a little friendly competition over which class gets the chair, because it's only one and it's gonna be a hot ticket item that the kid gets to sit here and rock in it. So maybe we'll do something with the class that has the highest AR goal percentage or whatever. Their class will get to have the chair for the month or the week. So if you have any ideas of how a 5th grade class could compete with a 3rd grade class over who gets the chair, that would be awesome. Please put it in the comments because Stephanie and I are looking for an idea. But since I bought it and I got to it first, it's in my classroom right now. All right, moving on. Right behind the rug area is, I don't know what to call this, library seating or something, where like it's just a row of tables. And what's great about this is when the kids sit here, if kids need a more direct line of sight to the board, these chairs are perfect. So 4 kids can sit there. They can look, up over the kids who are on the floor. You can also see the TV and the board really clearly there. So I like the seating for kids who need to look forward. All right, we might as well move on to my teacher table. I love this table so much. Let me fix the camera. I don't know why I did it so low. That better? Oh, no, now it's crooked. See, man, this is why I don't film vlogs. I don't know what I'm doing. Is that sorry. Okay, I love this table. I made a whole video. It obviously was a regular teacher table. I covered with the whiteboard wallpaper-y stuff. And it's so nice. So my idea is not only is this a teacher table where I can teach, but the kids can sit here. They'll probably fight over this chair that my husband got for me on clearance somewhere. And they can collaborate. And I got this idea from my friend Megan, who teaches math. And she noticed that when kids collaborate on a big open whiteboard space like this, they tend to actually write on each other's stuff and work together. Whereas if you have your own individual whiteboard, it kind of feels like your own little piece of paper and you're not sure if you should share, like, oh, they're looking at it, or like, well, what if my answer's not right? Whereas if it's out on the open like this, they tend to collaborate more. And I know, and I just space on what it's called. There's a whole math program where it's vertical spaces. And I have not taken a training on that. I don't know a lot about that, so I can't speak on it. But I get the idea that it's similar to this, that it allows kids to collaborate. We luck out in that our walls are covered with this, it's not like cork, but basically you can pin something into any spot on the wall. With that said, though, I can't make it a whiteboard space because the paper wouldn't stick to it because it's almost a cloth backing. So I have horizontal spaces that I've covered with this whiteboard paper. And like I said in the video, putting electrical tape around the outside is great because it covers the edge from them picking at the whiteboard paper, but electrical tape stretches so you can go around the corner. So sometimes I'll be sitting here, sometimes the kids will be sitting here, but it's basically a teacher table, but it also allows kids that need to sit closer to the board, they can sit in these seats as well. So over to my side is a teacher sort of lecture area where I'll stand if I'm doing a whole class lesson and utilizing either the document camera or maybe the Chrome box on the TV. And so I like being able to stand to do that. So that's over to the side, hopefully not blocking kids' line of sight, but that worked out great last year. It also holds all of my teaching materials. Okay, over kind of back behind that teacher table along the side of the front board is what I call the cozy corner. I know some teachers call it the calm down corner, but I have never done well when somebody has told me to calm down. So I don't call it the calm down corner, it's a cozy corner. And it is a place of reward. So when I first explained it to the kids, it's one of the few places of the flexible seating that they don't get to just choose to go to. So I don't have class jobs. What I do is every day I select a star student and it's randomized. Their names are just on a ring. And I just pick the next kid because I've pre-shuffled them. And that kid does basically the jobs for the day, whether it's passing out papers, collecting papers, turning off the lights when we exit the classroom, whatever it might be. But the reason why they want to be the star student is because they get special privileges. And one of them is that when we go to group work, the star student and 2, maybe 3 of their friends get preferential seating. So they get to sit in the cozy corner. They get first dibs on the cozy corner or the bistro table or wherever, but most of them pick the cozy corner. And that's where they get to go sit when we do group work. Cozy corner is also a good spot if a kid is working on self-regulation. They can come here by choice. They have to ask though. So it's one of the few spots where the kids can't just rush and go sit, but I found it works really well. I have some, fidgets or whatever it might be that sometimes might help a kid with self-regulating behaviors. I also have some feelings charts that I just found off of Canva because sometimes, I know this is true for me. When I'm feeling upset, maybe I don't know why I'm upset or I'm not quite sure how to communicate that. So I let kids point to the emotion if that feels a little more comfortable for them than necessarily having to verbalize it. There's some rainbow breathing techniques they can do, or if they just need space from everybody, this is where they can come down to. I also have the extra seats stored over here. Oh, this one has marker on it. I'm gonna have to clean it. And pillows that I get to take home every week and wash, but that's okay, it's worth it. And some fun books kind of spill over from our library. These are more picture books, that way if a kid would like to read while they're over here to help maybe distract or calm down or whatever it might be, they are over here. Then on the other side, I have a Chromebook charging station. The kids are really great about coming to class with their Chromebooks charged, but every now and then, for whatever reason, it's not charged. So my husband actually bought this for a house and ended up not using it, but it's just a charging tower. And then next to me is the cubbies, which I'll show in a second. So these are the class cubbies. They basically put their backpack in here when they come into the classroom, and they will take out their Chromebook and bring it to wherever their seating is. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but when they come in, I'm going to give them assigned seating for their very first seat of the day. And then as the day moves on and the groups move on, that's when they get a little bit more choice of where they sit. But for at least the first week, I am going to have them sit in a specific spot so they know where to go to in the morning. But all they need to get out of their backpack is their Chromebook, because I'm going to have communal supplies around the classroom. Fifth graders I found have done really great with making sure that they return communal supplies and they use them how they need to use them and don't leave them around the classroom. So I'm going to have that based off of what they need to use for each of the groups. And I just realized how red my little cheeks are, so I'm gonna turn on the AC. Or not. Maybe it's not working because I'm here during off hours. I'm only here during off hours because I'm filming. Oh, poor me. I'm just gonna be sweaty for the next 10 minutes. All right, cubbies. So I love this for labeling cubbies. It's just a binder clip that I put a label on. It will have the kid's name on it eventually. But right now it doesn't because I'm gonna have the kids do that. I have the labels printed and they can put it on. That's another thing I don't stress about. I don't need to have everything ready for the kids when they show up. You know, they're nervous or sleepy or whatever the first day. And so having a kind of easy task like this of putting their label on their clip and putting it on their cubby is something that they can do, especially the very first time they come in. They're just gonna sit down. So they don't, I will have their name on a Post-it note. That's actually important because they need to know where to sit. So I'll have their name on a Post-it note that I will put on a desk. So when they first come in, all they're gonna do is sit down and they're gonna do my birthday card activity. And I have a video for that. And the kids love doing that. They're just decorating an envelope. Then later, because I'm a firm believer that kids need to practice routines over and over again, after I've collected that envelope, they actually have to go back outside and redo the morning entrance. And by then, I will have them label their cubbies so that they know where their stuff goes. The air conditioning turned on. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'll have them label their cubbies so they know where to put their stuff. Leanna gave me this paper because she bought it and ended up not using it. Leanna's my coworker, by the way. She teaches 5th grade. She ended up using it because she has different colors that she used. So this I got for free. Thank you, Leanna. So they'll label their cubbies, they'll put their stuff. This just barely fits a 5th grader's backpack. So these are perfect. All right, let's keep going. Oh, I love this thing. So my air conditioner makes a weird sound. I'm just happy it's here. This table I got at the same thrift store that I almost got in a fight with Stephanie over that chair. And it was $10. And I used my leftover whiteboard paper on this table. So I didn't even have to buy another roll. And the idea of this table, because it has a stool, is yes, a kid could sit back here if they wanted something a little higher, but I am a firm believer that some kids think and work better by standing. So what's nice about this station is, I don't know, 2 or 3 kids could stand back here and they can still see the board and they can stand and they're not blocking anybody. You know, if they need a wiggle or move or lean or whatever, that's perfectly fine. So I love this table. I'll probably try and score another chair on thrift store or clearance or whatever. And the fun part is we actually had our staff meeting in this classroom the other day, and Stephanie and I definitely were not playing tic-tac-toe back here, but I mean, maybe we were. It's fun, and kids can collaborate back here or play games when the teacher's talking. There's a little bit of an irony. I love this, I don't know, painting poster. It says you can always sit with us, but it's by the standing desk, but that's just where I hung that, so that's that. All right, let's keep moving. So I'm not entirely sure how I want to use this space yet. Last year, this space was used because the students did a live student news broadcast, and this was art submitted by the different students, and this TV or screen, sorry, monitor would be right here, and the kids used it like a teleprompter, and then newscasters sat right here, would read the prepared slides off the teleprompter while the other kids in the group did their things behind the scenes. And it worked out great, but it was very student-led and student-driven, and that year's students really, last year's kids really wanted to do it. So I will only do it again this year if this group wants to do it. If not, I still want to do some sort of video something, so that's why this is on a cart, because they can kind of move it and use it as a teleprompter or whatever they need to use it for while they're recording themselves. But this is also nice, I don't know, partner, or maybe 3 kids can work together here. Or sometimes the students will record themselves reading a book or doing some sort of video, and I think this is a good space because you have the backdrop and you have something you can use as a teleprompter. Back here is where the students' work is displayed, and I let them choose what goes up there. I don't have the pins in yet, but maybe I'll find a shot from last year where it's basically just a closed pin with a tack on it. And I made a template where it's not only their class number, but I can write their name underneath. But I do not have their name laminated because, as you know, your class roster can change throughout the year, so sometimes their class numbers change. So the template I made makes it so you can just erase the name and put a different name if they're numbers. But that's where all the student work will go eventually when they make the work. So next to that station is basically the back of the classroom. I'll kind of sweep it around so you see that there's that kind of library seating, and then there's 2 tables back there. And this is where small group work can happen. Also, it's where I'll put my anchor charts. And it's probably kind of hard to see how tall that is. Like maybe I'll go stand over there. Like this is like really high up. And the reason why I did that is because in prior years, this was down here. And whenever kids would sit or lean against it, it would rip and tear. So I had to put it up high. But what I have is like a little stool I can step on so I can change out these anchor charts. So these eventually will have anchor charts on them. Again, I put the clothespins on the tacks at the top, so I'm not like stapling things every time, I just switch it out. But that's where that will be. But what's nice about it being up high is that kids can see it anywhere in the room and reference it, but mostly I needed the bottom not to hit where the kids might sit and rip it by accident. I talk about this in every video. These backdrops or bulletin boards or whatever are just dollar store or Target tablecloths. So that's what that is. You don't have to mess with cutting it and making, or if it's the paper, making sure it rips right. I just put it on, tack it. Like I said, our walls are this, material that you could stick staples and pins into. So it's awesome. All right, moving right along, there was the door. Let's go over to the bistro area. So the kids like calling this the bistro area, and it's another preferential seating area, so the star student can sit over here. Outdoor rug, clearance, super cheap, maybe $20. This I got at IKEA on their like discards area years ago. And I want to say it was, I don't know, I would be shocked if I paid more than $25 for this set. And then these I found at, I don't know, Marshall's or something like that for same sort of thing. Like I said, I sort of buy things here and there. I don't feel like teachers should have to spend money if they don't want to on their classroom. But if it's something cute, or I feel like I will enjoy it, or the kids will feel special having it in their classroom, I don't mind spending a little money on it. This is the only fake plant I have because I feel like the plants on this table get messed with. So I'd rather them mess with a fake one. This is PE stuff, so it's easy to take outside. I love that bucket. I'll probably move the library books over here just so this is library bistro area. But yeah, this is another fun little space. I also feel like with 5th graders, I want them to feel grown up. I do still like having some younger kid things in here, some comfort objects, maybe some cutesy things. But I've noticed that having this set up, they really like, because it feels more like maybe a middle school seating arrangement. And it's great too, because one of the stations is to play math games, and this seating, a circle table, works really well for math games. So they like coming over here. All right, so here's this teacher lectern area. And I guess it's not a lectern or podium. It's a baker's rack that I had in like my first apartment that moved from house to house with me, and now it's here. But I love it for storing my teacher materials, document camera, which projects onto that television. And I like being able to face the students, still have that in my line of sight, and not be blocking, kids. The bistro seating over there, sure, I might block them maybe a little bit, but not really. So this is why this is here. It's sort of central. I can see everybody, but they can still see the screen, which is great. I highly suggest getting these. These are just noise canceling headphones. They came from the school, from our occupational therapist, but I have a couple sets of these, and they are so nice for students who maybe have noise sensitivity for when there's going to be a fire alarm, or even sometimes the school announcements on the PA system come in kind of loud, and they can still hear them through this. It's just not quite as jarring. So this is a really good thing. See if your school or district can provide them for students, because I have found it very helpful for when there's, loud noise environments, or if we're doing something in the cafeteria, maybe it has sort of that assembly pep rally feel where kids might be yelling and cheering. These are really nice to have for students who need that because the noise is a little overstimulating, which it definitely is for me. So having these are really great. This is just an extra seat and desk off my desk if a kid wants to sit over here and work with me, or if there's another adult that's, pushing into the class for whatever reason, they can sit here and be right next to my desk, although I don't sit at my desk that long. I know I'm doing a flexible seating video, but I do want to show one school supply that I'm so happy the school purchased. So they had some money that they designated for us for art supplies, and so I decided to spend a huge chunk on it on the skin tone markers and colored pencils. This one's not, this one's just like regular colored pencils. But this whole bin is the different skin tone ones, and the kids loved it. They literally, when they got dropped off, they literally squealed when they saw them. So if you are able to fit this in your budget, or you have an art budget, they also make, Leanna, my colleague, bought the paper, the skin tone paper, which I think is awesome. And, but if your school has budget for this, or if you have a supply list that parents or families are willing to purchase for, these are so worth it. The kids love being able to have this option, so these supplies are great. All right, so there you have it. That's my classroom. I'm very, very, very excited to welcome the students to the space and to allow them to make it their own and make some modifications based off of what they need. As I was walking around, I realized there's some things that I probably could have clarified a little bit better. So maybe I'll make a future video of that. If you came to this video because you are a brand new teacher and you're interested in how another teacher maybe set up their classroom or what they do, then I encourage you to check out this playlist with all of my favorite new teacher tips. But if you are looking more for videos on back to school, then check out this playlist of all of my favorite back to school activities. Have a great school year.